All right, guys, today's going to continue on with the distributive property, and we're going to take a look at how we can apply and use that within equations. So let's do a quick recap of the distributive property. Okay, so if you look at the problem here on my screen, we have a term right outside of a grouping parenthesis here. So we're going to take that 3, and what it's going to have us do is 2 mini multiplication problems, and our answers are sitting right next to each other. So 3 times x is 3x. 3 times, again, we want to acknowledge that sign in there, 3 times a -2, which is a -6. Now, without an equal sign, we're pretty much stopping right there because I cannot put my red term and my blue term together. They are not like terms. What we're going to take a look at today is, let's suppose our original problem was 3 times the quantity x minus 2 equals 21. Guess what? We'd have done the exact same thing so far. We would have noticed it's an equal equation. If you want to draw your vertical line, by all means, helpful to some. We would have looked at the side with a variable like we always do in equations and said, hey, there's parentheses. There's parentheses that is a grouping, so I need to distribute. So we would have done the distributing first. Anyways, the only difference is once you're done with that distributing, the red term, the green, or the blue term still equal to 21, and we would go then from there to solve the rest of that problem, the two-step equation. So I just wanted to show you the connection of how we're applying it today. There are 2 examples in your note packet on page 27 that are already done that you're more than welcome to take a look at when you're doing your homework or for guidance. What we're going to take a look at today, we're going to do problems together on page 29. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do all the odd ones together with you in this instructional video. And then for your assignment, I'm going to have you do the even problems. So let's take a look at number 1. Okay, so when we are looking at solving, let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. And I apologize, guys, on your worksheet, not the clearest quality. So I'll try to clear up, and you can kind of see a little bit better on the screen here. So hopefully that should help with your symbols and the numbers. All right, so if I take a look at number 1 here, again, it is an equal. I see an equal sign. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my vertical line. I look at the side of my variable, and here it is on the left, and I've got 2 distributions going on. I got 2 multiplications. So we're going to do 2 times a, and then 2 times a positive 3. 2 times a positive 3 is plus 6. And then here is my equals, -12. So once you distribute, go ahead and write down what it is equal to and that value. From there, 2-step equation, guys. I'm going to go ahead and remove that plus 6. If I look at my variable, I have a plus 6 and a multiplication of 2. We're going to undo the addition first, exactly like we would have in a 2-step equation. -12 minus 6, -18. My 2a just drops on down. My opposites cancel. Now, to get rid of my 2, it's being directly buddied up with my a. That's multiplication. So we're going to get division, and -18 divided by 2 is -9. All right, so when you go to do your problems, and I'll mention this at the end as well, but if you're looking at number 2, guess what? Your problem model that is most like that is problem number 1. So they are aligned horizontally there to give you a good reference when you're completing your work. All right, let's take a look at number 2. So the same procedure. I notice it's equation. I'm going to go ahead and draw my line down there. Looking at the left side, I notice my variable. I see my parentheses, so I know I need to distribute. So 4 times my first term, 2r. Remember, if you've got numbers, multiply them together. Variables just come along for the ride, and that is an r. Then we have 4 times that back number, 4 times a positive 8, which is a positive 32. Now again, guys, if you put that in larger numbers, so you may not have known that, 4 times 8, you get 32. But make sure when you're putting it down on paper, it is a plus 32 because I'm connecting it with my 8r. Once you're done with distributing, go ahead and write the rest of your equation, equals 88. If we're looking to solve, my orange is buddied up with my variable, my green is my regular addition term there, so I'm going to subtract 32. My 8r is going to drop down. My 32s are opposites. So I would do it. And when I subtract here, I'm going to get 56. Does Second step, 8 is being multiplied with my r, so I'm going to go ahead and divide to get rid of it. Opposites cancel. I have an r. 56 divided by 8 is 7. So same idea. It's very similar to problem number 4. So when you're working, please use those references if you need some help. All right, let's take a look at 5, 7, and 9. Again, I'm going to go ahead and do the odds with you, and you can do the evens for credit. All right, so I'm going to give myself a little more space here. Sorry, maybe stretches it out a bit. All right, so taking a look at number 5. Now again, kind of didn't print or share the best, but this darkened line there, that's an equal sign. And I think I actually made it worse, but that is an equal sign. What is different about this one, if I go ahead and draw my line because I notice that it's an equation, is that this time my variable's on the right. Again, it's just like saying your name backwards. Same procedure, it just is a little bit more uncomfortable, but you guys can handle it. All right, so let's distribute because I see those parentheses. 4 times the k, 4 times a positive 3, positive 12. Once you have your distributive done, set it equal to that answer. Solving your two-step equation, you have a multiplication in my orange term, 4 times k, and then you have a plus 12. So we want to get rid of the plus 12 first. We're going to go ahead and subtract. Opposites cancel, 4k drops down. There's my equal sign. 4 minus 12 is a negative 8. Second step, 4 is being multiplied by k, so I'm going to go ahead and divide to get rid of it. Negative 8 divided by 4, negative 2. Again, notice, look at number 6, same setup, guys. My variable is going to be on the right-hand side, my answer on the left. But same procedure, just a little bit different. All right, taking a look at number 7. So if we look up front, I have a negative value. Well, I guess, sorry, let me backtrack. Let me draw my vertical line. Variables on the left, so that's good news, back to where we like it. We're going to take that number or sign out front. If you look at it, it's just a sign. You remember from earlier units, a negative is the same as a -1. So if you want to put the 1 there, feel a little more comfortable, that would work too. So going ahead and distributing, -1 times 3 is -3. K just comes along for the ride. My second multiplication here, -1 times -12. Again, making sure we're including that sign in our multiplying. It turns into a positive 12. And we're going to equal 48. Once you're done with your distributive, write that answer. From there, hopefully you see that two-step equation. Going to get rid of our adding first. Second step I do is division, because I see that that's what's going on. I see my multiplying. So hopefully you followed that. We divide by -3, and 36 divided by -3 is 12. So that is your final answer for that one. And again, guys, if you need to pause, write down the work, that's completely acceptable. We're going to do one more together. Favorite kind, Scott fractions. So let me go ahead and get you set up. So we get a little more space. Let me bring these guys up. All right, so number 9. Looks a little more daunting, right? Because of the fraction, but don't let that bother you. The same operations hold true. We've got our trusty graphing calculator here that's going to help us out with those computations. So I'm going to go ahead and draw your vertical line if you need to. I do think it is handy. Looking at the side with the variable, here I am. So I'm going to get my multiplication on. I see those parentheses indicates multiplying. So 1/2 times 4. And anytime you're putting a fraction in the calculator, parentheses 1 divided by 2, that's my half. We're multiplying it by 4, so we get 2 for that first value. And there's also an x with it, so drop that down. Then we have our half, and we're going to multiply it by -6. Take that negative with it, guys. Same thing, fraction in parentheses, multiply it by -6. We get the answer of -3. Once you have your distributive done, write down your problem the rest of the way, so equals 11. From there, my green term, it's the first one I'm going to move. It's subtraction. So we always undo addition, subtraction first. 2x is going to drop down. My 3's are opposites and cancel. 11 plus 3 is 14. The nice thing, guys, did you notice how that fraction just kind of disappeared? Sometimes the math god is on our side and lets us get rid of those fractions. But again, if not, that calculator does a nice job computing that. All right, so the next section, 2 times x. How do we get rid of multiplying? We divide. And we end up with the answer of x equals 7. So again, looking ahead to number 10, you've got that fraction. Hopefully the fraction god's in your favor too and they'll disappear. But again, I want you to complete the evens for your assignment and turn in, and again, it's problem models. The one really directly on the page to the left of that problem is the best reference for you to use. So good luck, reach out if you need any more help.